Erik Halterman of RotoWire here with 6 players to pick up this week, starting with Marcelo Mayer, who was called up by the Red Sox last weekend after Alex Bregman went down with a quad injury. Mayer is still available in about 3/4 of Yahoo leagues, despite being the 4th overall pick back in 2021 and the 29th overall prospect on RotoWire's top 400. He should be owned in a lot more leagues, although I wouldn't go crazy for him. Some prospects force their way up on their own timeline due to their own performance, with the team shuffling around pieces to clear a space. Others arrive on the team's timeline due to injuries, and that's the case with Mayer. He's just 22 and has dealt with lots of injuries in the minors, never reaching 100 games in a season, so he still probably has some development left to do. In 43 AAA games this year, Mayer hit .271 with an .818 OPS. Good numbers, but not good enough to say that he's completely mastered the level, I would say. 9 homers and 2 steals. Again, pretty good, not incredible. I doubt that we'll see anything close to Mayer's potential peak this season, but the short-term floor is very high. He's got safe everyday playing time in a solid lineup in a great hitter's park, and probably for at least another month or 6 weeks even, because Bregman's injury looks like it's a long-term one. Up next, we've got Jose Caballero, who finished 4th in the league with 44 steals last year, but went undrafted in a lot of formats this season and is still out there in plenty of leagues. The reason he wasn't so popular in draft season, I think, is because he didn't look like the top name at any specific spot on the depth chart, and he didn't have a very good bat, just 9 homers last year, a higher strikeout rate, 28%, than his hard hit rate, just 25%. And those fears about Caballero not having a specific starting role do seem accurate. He hasn't started more than 20 games at any given position so far, but his defensive versatility on a team like the Rays, who love to mix and match, has allowed him to start 2/3 of his team's games so far, appearing at 5 different positions, and that's been enough for him to steal 18 bases, which is tied for 4th in the league, right where he was last year. Caballero's bat is still weak. He's hitting .250 with just 1 homer, but the playing time is ticking up. He started 8 of the last 10 games, including 6 at shortstop. Could keep starting there, given that Taylor Walls has an OPS of just 500. Now, don't grab Jose Caballero if you don't need speed, because that's about all he does, but if you do, get him now. We'll get to the pitchers in a minute, but first I wanted to mention RotoWire's My Leagues feature, where you can upload your league and get personalized advice on pickups and trades based on our projections. I use it myself every week to make sure I'm not overlooking any potential pickups. Check it out with a RotoWire subscription and use promo code YouTube15 at checkout to receive 15% off that subscription. On the mound, let's start with Edward Cabrera, who is incredibly unreliable. He's got good stuff. He misses plenty of bats, but he has a career 13% walk rate and frequent injury problems. Could not look more like a future reliever to me, but when Cabrera is in a groove, he can help out a lot of fantasy teams, and he's in one right now. Cabrera missed the start of the season with a blister, because of course he did, and then he struggled in his first 4 starts back, had a 7.23 ERA, 170 whip, struck out just 22% of opposing batters while walking 12%, but something has clicked over his last 4 starts. A 2.53 ERA, a 108 whip, strikeout rate up to 28%. Cabrera's also throwing more sliders this year and a few more curveballs. He's cut his 4-seam fastball usage all the way down to 11%, which makes sense because it was his worst pitch. Can this new version of Cabrera finally fulfill his promise? I'm still unconvinced, but I'm more interested than ever in trying to find out. Another starting pitcher, we've got Slade Cecconi, who was very poor in 2 seasons with Arizona, a 6.06 ERA, a 135 whip, just a 19% strikeout rate as well, but he was acquired by Cleveland in the Josh Naylor deal. He then missed the start of the season with an oblique strain, but he's been up for a pair of starts which have gone very well. He's given up just 4 runs on 10 hits in 11 innings, striking out 14 while walking just 2. The Guardians have adjusted Cecconi's pitch mix, adding in a handful of sinkers and cutters and increasing his curveball usage at the expense of his 4-seamer, which had been his worst pitch. I feel like I'm getting deja vu with that sentence. Sounds a lot like Cabrera here. Cecconi was never an elite prospect, but he was a legitimate one. He was selected 34th overall in the 2020 draft, and he peaked in the back half of the top 100 on James Anderson's prospect rankings at RotoWire. Anytime a moderately interesting pitcher changes organizations, I'm interested in acquiring him just to see if the new team makes any tweaks that help him find success. And Cecconi is a great example of that right now. Up next, we've got Miguel Andujar of the Athletics, and what a weird career he's having. Andujar was the runner-up to Shohei Ohtani for the 2018 Rookie of the Year, had a .297 average with 27 homers that year. And then he hit just .234 with a total of 12 homers in sporadic playing time over the next 5 seasons while dealing with injuries. But Andujar showed signs of being a productive player in half a season, 75 games for Oakland last year. He hit .285 while striking out just 13% of the time, though he managed just 4 homers. He's continuing the trend this season, just 3 homers in 43 games, but he's hitting .304 while again striking out just 13% of the time. Andujar's persistent ability to avoid strikeouts gives me faith that he's going to continue to give you a pretty good batting average, although one that comes with less power than you'd like and not a lot of speed. That's not enough in most formats when he was playing only semi-regularly, but Andujar has started 20 of the last 23 games as of recording. So if you're searching for a bit of help in batting average, or you just want steady playing time in a great hitter's park, grab Andujar now and see what the Athletics do once it starts getting hot in Sacramento. Finally, if you're looking for saves, try Rangers lefty Robert Garcia. Now, some fantasy analysts, including my co-host on the Saturday edition of the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball podcast, Ryan Boyer, have been on Garcia as the most interesting arm in the Texas bullpen since before the season began, but Bruce Bochy gave the first chance to Luke Jackson, who did pick up 8 saves in April, but he gave up 4 runs on the final day of that month and hasn't earned a save since. Jacob Webb and Sean Armstrong earned the next few chances, but the last 2 saves have gone to Garcia. Now, being a lefty hurts Garcia's chances at closing, since managers do like using their southpaws against specific pockets of lefties in the opposing lineup, but Bochy does have 2 others who've been effective this season in Hobie Milner and Jacob Latz, which could free up Garcia for the 9th inning, and his setup-like secondary stats are at least a lot better than what Jackson had managed. No guarantee that Garcia keeps the job all year, but he's looked like the best option for a while and has the job now, so go and grab him if you need saves.